and welcome to the JBR Capital Fund Your Passion podcast with me, Amanda Stretton, and Darren Selig over there. Hey, Darren.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? And today, very exciting actually about this one. Because we have been here before, Dean, haven't we?
Indeed.
We've come up to DMB Collection. We call it Collection?
Yeah, DMB Collection.
With Dean Bartle. Now, we spoke to you before, but during COVID, where you gave us a tour, a virtual tour.
A virtual tour, yeah.
But we've actually now managed to come up in person.
Yeah, it's lovely to see you.
It's great to be here. What a place.
Thank you.
I mean, goodness, tucked away a bit on the airfield.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure where I was driving into. But,
No.
Well, you could follow me. It's fine.
well, I did. Thank you.
Pleasure. Anytime.
Mansplain me. Man's giving me directions.
Oh dear.
This is getting off well, isn't it? But anyway, it's great to see you. What have you been up to since we last spoke? Obviously, we were in lockdown at the time, so
Of
we were all
course.
doing this remotely.
Yeah. Well, I think really all I've been doing is just baby steps, really, just building the business and just going with the flow, really, I guess. So, and just, steadily getting busier and busier, obviously. We've got a great inventory now of cars, which is fabulous.
You certainly do.
I'm very proud of where it's going and how it's been going. It's great. So, yeah, I'm really pleased with it.
Looking forward to chatting more about the cars in a little bit. My goodness. But, I mean, out the front, there was that Dodge.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Did you put that there on purpose?
I didn't know. I was making room for you in here, Amanda. That's why I moved it out, you see.
God, I don't take up that much.
If you said that about me, I would believe.
Oh, no.
It is monstrous.
It is, yeah. It's
huge.
quite special. That just arrived yesterday, actually. So it's an interesting car.
Yeah.
And I think hence why we call it Collection, because it's a collection of things, lots of different things, rather than a
Very
specific thing. But of course, it is the Demon. So there's none for sale in the UK, that one. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it is monstrous. Yeah, it's fantastic.
It was huge. But okay, so Collection, I mean, you've got some fantastic cars, but some very sort of left field. And I'm looking over here, I am lusting. I mean, literally, when I walked in and I saw that, I like the Dodge. I do have a thing for American cars, but the Mexico for me is just my favourite in here by a country mile. But how do you decide your inventory?
It's quite simple, really. I think I just decide it's whatever I like. If I really like it, then it's suitable for the inventory, if you like. So I don't generally bring cars into stock that I don't like, or if it hasn't got quite the right specification, if I don't think it's good for sale.
See, that is actually quite interesting, because if you were running a retail store, you'd probably go bust if you stock items that you just like.
Yeah.
You have to stock what your customers like. So that's quite interesting. So, I think you've probably got similar taste by the sound.
I hope so, yeah. I think the idea is, I am a petrol head at heart, and I think it's, I speak to all the customers, I know what they like and things like that, so...
But you've got a background as well, working sort of with modern, Citroen, with Porsche, with Volkswagen. I mean, what has that experience brought to this business?
Those were the foundation blocks, really, for gaining experience with lots of different brands. I think I probably cut my teeth a little bit, really, at Porsche, really, I suppose, with the sports and supercar world, which was great. You
just can't get away from Porsche, man. I'm so
I know.
sorry.
I mean, I don't know if you remember, did we sort of touch on my sort of ambivalence to Porsches?
We did.
We did, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you are aware.
It's
I mean,
good.
Darren does like to sort of remind everybody
That's
about
good.
it. But no, I mean, I know the Carrera GT over there. You sold that originally, and now it's back here. With you
Okay,
now.
well, there you go. That's a Porsche. Does that excite you at least? I mean, that is something special.
No, it is something special, and it's very nice. Look.
You're not sounding very enthusiastic about a £1.5 million car.
But the problem is, there's the 1.5 million, and then there is the sort of more run-of-the-mill stuff. And the problem is, it's how do you... So the Mexico is special. Everybody's going to... People, you're not going to see hundreds of them. The Dodge, you're not going to see hundreds. You're not going to turn up and there's going to be a line of Porsches.
No.
Where yours could potentially slightly disappear into the.
Has Amanda signed the purchase order for the car?
Almost, I think.
Yeah. I think she's walking out.
Darren is funding my passion. I mean, it's getting slightly out of hand. This. I mean, yeah. Yes, it's costing me to come work. But so what's your favourite car in here? I mean, so looking around, because I mean, you've obviously got like one end of the spectrum to the other. I mean, you've got the Cullinan. I mean, you've got sort of rally bikes, supercars?
It's really hard for me to put my finger on one particular car. I mean, obviously, it's probably the Carrera GT. That's sort
Is
of
that
a
because
dream
of the
car.
connection with you, or because
No, just because I know a lot about them and just how special the car is. I just think it's an incredible, iconic car, you know, so it really is that special. Well, it is to me anyway. It holds a place in my heart for that car. Obviously being there for the build of them and seeing them being built at Leipzig in Germany and things like that. So that really is a special car. But I mean, there's so many different cars that are so, you know, varied. I enjoy all of them in different ways.
So when did your original sort of love of cars, where did that start?
When I was very little, you know, literally drooling at the window at JCT Ferrari showroom and things when I was little, but also my dad. Not that he had expensive cars or anything, but he was a traffic police officer. And I used to think it was really cool because back then in the sort of 80s and things,
That's right.
the 90s, they had Cosworths. You know, and it was like a Cosworth police car. My dad would pop home sometimes for dinner, and if I ever saw him, I'd just be outside going, "Wow, you know, this is incredible." And of course, I always used to.
I've forgotten about that.
Yeah,
Those are the days to be a policeman.
absolutely. Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so actually we were here because, I mean, the site you've got here is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's
and
lovely,
The
yeah.
runway out there, the police were out there sort of practicing there.
Yeah, they're doing their TPAC training today, which is cool.
That's cool.
And they no doubt come and wander in and have a look round and see what sort of cars they can't catch. You know, it's quite interesting, really.
In there, 1.8 litre, whatever
Exactly.
it is that they've
They
got
need to
out
come
there.
in here and be
Yeah.
like is it the Italian police and
Yes, they have the Lambos and everything,
exactly.
don't
They
they?
need to come in here and
Yeah,
take some of these.
indeed.
So COVID was obviously a difficult time. I mean, but you were still selling, you were still sort of working, and I mean, you use social media a lot
Yes.
to sort of promote what you've got.
Yeah.
Has that changed now that we've sort of opened up and people are actually...
No, I think it's still very influential. Social media is a very powerful tool. I've always worked with it. I think it's fantastic. It extends the reach. You know, a lot of people just advertise on Auto Trader, piston heads, things like that, but it costs you nothing to advertise them yourself on your own Instagram platform.
No.
So we do a lot of business from Instagram still. So, yeah.
And do you find different cars work better sort of working through social versus working through sort of more traditional?
It can do, yeah, because there are trending cars. And it depends how the algorithm's a bit odd, isn't it, at the moment with a lot of social media platforms. But, you know, like, for example, a new BMW M3 Touring is quite a trending car. And I've sold a couple of them already, but as soon as you post that at the right time, they go, phew,
Yeah.
you know, they take off. And that brings some,
What is
exposure to the
right
business.
time? Have you worked it out?
No,
Or do they change it?
they just keep changing all the times. I mean, usually used to be like 6, 7 o'clock, you'd post something, but now it can be 11 o'clock. Or, you know, 2 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Weird.
So,
Yeah.
so is the market changing, do you think? Are people sort of looking for more usable cars in your experience, or
I'm not
is
sure. I mean,
everything
I
still
think
moving for
as
the
we're
right
heading
car?
through the 21st century, I mean, we're seeing more and more, you know, electric cars, hybrid cars, EV markets becoming popular. And I think for very special cars like these, I think it's still going to be very good going forward. I think they'll become a bit more exclusive. I think, yes, people might have an electric car for everyday use now, but they'll want to open the garage door to something that probably kicks out loads of emissions, you know, on a Sunday, but it's true.
Yeah,
And I think they want
No,
the
I think
noise
it
and
is.
everything that they miss from driving everyday EV
The
cars.
noise and the smell. I mean,
It
there's not much
is.
smell from an EV, is there?
No,
Talking about the smell, I mean, we were just having a little sniff inside.
we were getting
Oh,
a
you
look.
can smell it.
Yeah.
I did
Well,
that
you
as
can
well.
smell it.
Did
I
you?
know. Did you go
can.
in and
Yes,
smell it
I
too?
did. I was like, oh, wow.
How
that's
sad are
lovely.
we?
I should start charging for it.
No, it's just getting old.
Yeah,
that's all.
yeah, pay for a sniff.
Yeah.
That sounds awful, doesn't it? So, I mean, do you see, you know, are you seeing sort of more of the sort of hybrid supercars coming in? I mean, are people sort of liking the sort of electric?
I think hybrid
movement,
supercars, I mean, I think
or-
that 918 is probably a good one for that type of thing. And of course the SF90 and some of the other new cars that are coming through, you know, they are
The
fairly
Altura.
popular. Pardon?
Black Altura.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what do you see? I mean, so do you, because obviously there's the people who will maybe use a pure EV for their daily
Yeah.
driver, let's say,
Yeah.
and then they'll go for something like this for fun. But what about that crossover? Is that market, do you think, still going to be developing over the next few years until, of course, we can't buy them
I think
anymore,
it
but-
will be. I think it definitely will be that sort of hybrid will definitely continue to grow, I think. But I just feel a lot of customers would probably still prefer the lovely, loud, naturally aspirated engines.
Yeah.
I think they'll really miss that. There's something about the combustion engine, you know, noise, feel, pops and crackles, that excites people.
It comes down to the passion, doesn't it?
Of course it does.
I mean, this is the passion for cars and the passion for driving. So when people come in, can you tell before, I mean, I guess people aren't going to just walk in off the street, so you know who's coming and you know what they're coming for. But, I mean, can you liken a car to a person? So when somebody comes in, we were having this conversation earlier on. You know, we were sort of trying to sort of describe our typical Mark customers. Can you tell them?
I think to a certain extent, you probably have a little bit of a sixth sense that you develop, you know, over the years. But the one thing I think is you can never prejudge anybody.
No. So honestly, do you have people coming in to look at one thing and end up going out with something totally different?
I think it's a little bit different here because we don't have signs up outside on the main road. Obviously, we're very secluded and very private, so we don't generally get people just walking. So yeah, I think when they sort of come in, they make an appointment on a particular car, and when they arrive, they're quite excited to see it. But I think because we've got the fabulous opportunity of driving the car on the runway, you know, that just heightens their passion and experience for the car. And, you know, literally 99% of the time, they just buy the car.
So from what time can you go on the runway?
We're governed by the tower because it's an active runway. So we will ring them up first of all, and we have to use a radio and things like that. But I understand how it all works, obviously, out there. And just work with them, and they'll go, right, okay, you're okay now for however long, and you can just whiz out,
That's quite special. That really sets you apart.
Yeah, I like to think so.
Wow.
And I think it's nice because there's no police on there, and well, there is today, but there's no. You can whiz past them; they won't catch you.
How much fun to go out there with the police!
Absolutely. I mean, I've had the experience with them actually.
Yeah,
I've had a good laugh with them. They're great. They're really accommodating. It's good fun. But no, from a customer's point of view, I mean, as I say, there's no traffic. There's nothing out there to worry about. Just you and the car, and really enjoy it. And it's just it works a treat. What's
really coming across is how passionate you are about what you do.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy the whole? Do you enjoy finding the right cars to sell, selling the cars?
Absolutely.
Has it always been like that?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I still to this day get very excited about new cars coming into stock. You know, literally, I can see the transporter coming past or something, and I just run out. You know, I'm like a little kid. I'm like, let's have a look at this. You know, it's brilliant. I love it.
Where do you find your stock?
I mean, a lot of it, I'm fortunate. A lot of people know me, so they do offer me the cars, and I think that's quite a nice thing to do. So I don't really have to go looking. I look every morning on a lot of private sales on Piston Heads and Auto Trader and see if there's anything that sort of ticks our boxes here and meets our criteria. And I'll probably speak to them if it's suitable for stock. But most of the time, it's people ringing me and just saying, "I've got a car to sell. Would you be interested?"
And how much? I mean, gone are the days, I think, as well, when people buying cars would come in with, a checkbook or a big fat credit card or something.
Yeah.
Obviously working with finance companies as well. Does that change? Has that changed maybe the cars people buy, the decisions that they make? Have you seen that change?
Yeah, 100%. I think I think there's still a lot of people out there don't actually realise the deals they can get through finance on some of these cars.
It's your job to educate them, Dean.
It is. And the nice thing is that we're able to provide the quote. You can have a look. Certain cars have very strong residual values. Yeah. And when they're putting in a deposit, 10%, 20%, whatever it might be, they'll be very surprised what they can actually get into.
Yeah.
And they won't dream in a million years. I had a customer come in on a standard 911 and we got him into something like a Targa GTS at 40 grand more because it was payment led.
Yeah.
That's a great car. I can see myself in a Targa GTS. I'm sorry.
Huge
disappointment to you.
No. I do quite like those.
I would get one of those.
Okay, no, I do.
If only I knew a good finance company.
Yeah. I can help.
Can you?
Yeah, I can connect you.
Bank of Amanda.
Do it. Yeah, right. You've obviously had some fantastic cars pass through as well. Are there any that really stand out that are sort of memorable? I mean, I guess also like your first, probably on your own, is probably quite a memorable car as well. But which ones are the sort of key standouts?
Oddly enough, the first one was a 911 GTS. That was the first car I ever sold. So I was quite pleased it was a Porsche, actually. It was obviously my background.
Great.
They're producing such big numbers, Porsche. You can't get away from them.
No, I know.
No. But that was a lovely car to purchase for my customers. That was my first ever car that I ever sold. But yeah, over the years, I mean, I've sold lots and lots of lovely cars. And, you know, I think one of them that sticks in my head was a 288 GTO, which was lovely.
Yeah.
So I sold that one at the time when I was working at Redline. And that was a fabulous, fabulous car to bring into stock, and such a rare and expensive car. So that always sticks in your mind, of course.
Yeah.
So, you know, things like that, which is quite cool.
So one thing we've been talking about quite a bit the last couple of days is colours of cars, and what colour matches well with each car, and the strange names came up with. Was it Viper Green?
No, Lizard Green.
Lizard Green.
Yeah,
that's a Porsche.
Yeah.
And, what's your view on colours?
It's dreadful.
It's a lovely colour, but it's a dreadful marketing name.
They call it Python Green now on the new ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was Python was the other one.
Yeah.
So do colours change buying habits? People looking at particular colours?
They do.
For particular cars? Or,
there's like, I mean, if you go back to sort of 2015, there was a lot of white cars. You know, a lot of white sports cars then. And then as we sort of progressed, the Audi came out with RS6s in Nardo Grey, and everybody seemed to like those sort of primer type colours. And then it became crayon on a Porsche.
Yeah.
You know, Brooklyn Grey on the latest BMWs. And it's all, that sort of similar colour was quite fashionable. And then it's sort of changing again now.
What are you seeing it move towards now? Because recent SMMT figures about cars that people are buying with new cars, grey, black, blue.
They're the very safe options, aren't they? They'll never die, I think. That's the thing. Ferraris, red.
Of course, yeah.
You know, Rosso Corsa, I mean, it's one of them where they try different colours. Yeah. But I don't think it suits the car. Sometimes, you know, some colours don't suit them.
Some of the models, I think, look lovely in the sort of dark navy.
Yeah.
I have to say. But, I mean, okay, that's going into the blue. But
Tour de France blue.
Yeah. Tour de France blue is nice as well. But
it is.
Yeah. Looking out there, I mean, you were talking about the G63 that's coming. I mean, so those are quite in your face as well, but they have been fantastically popular. I remember when we were down at Romans, they had loads of them, and they're just selling like hotcakes.
G63s, yeah.
But there was a time when they were really sort of, I mean, they were pretty rubbish actually as well. Sorry, but they were. But they've suddenly had this
improved
huge resurgence in popularity and refinement, I might add.
There you go.
Do things like that surprise you, or can you see the sort of appeal of everything?
Yeah, I can see the appeal of it. I mean, they're very agricultural, the G63s, aren't they? You know, but it's the sound and everything, isn't it?
Yeah, you really need that in London, agriculture.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, you do. And the school runs, of course.
Of course,
a bit of off-roading and the odd curb. You know, it's important, isn't it?
Well, it's that luxury SUV market which is just been phenomenal in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So G-Wagons, Lamborghini Uruses, Cullinan. I mean, you know, thank goodness for all these cars. It's been fantastic for us as a...
Of course it will, yeah.
Cullinan been Rolls-Royce's biggest selling...
Yeah, and Urus as well. 60% of, I think it's around 60% of all Lamborghinis sold in last year was Urus.
Yeah.
It's been massive news.
But how many of them do you see? I mean, it's like a bus.
It is. It's a big car, the Cullinan. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. It's the car to be driven in.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be driven around in that car, really, as opposed to maybe a car to drive. But
obviously,
I mean, it's...
obviously, with my finger on the pulse, when I first saw the Cullinan, I thought, that'll never fly. That won't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously.
Hey, presto. I mean, what do you see with them when they're sort of coming through?
Rolls-Royce Cullinans, it's all about presence.
Yeah.
Anything Rolls-Royce is really about presence, isn't it? You know, and they turn a lot of heads. When you're turning up somewhere in a great big car like that, I mean, it looks very opulent. It's just amazing. And inside, obviously, just incredible. You know, it's a beautiful car inside and out, really. Looks, it's one of them 50-50. People are a bit odd with the looks of them, aren't they?
Well, I just think that they're so big. But, I mean, they do, you do feel a bit like the Queen.
Absolutely.
I think if you are going to be driven around in one, you need to wear a crown.
But cars are bigger today. Look at the size of cars today compared to 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Look at the size of the parking spaces you go to in the supermarket. I've got an Audi.
Is that your excuse for rubbish parking out there with like an entire bay of spaces and you straddle two of them? But anyway.
This is Yorkshire. There's plenty of space everywhere.
Yeah, there is. There is.
But look at the size of cars compared to the market. In the supermarkets, you can barely get out. I mean, okay, I'm a bit challenged to get out the tiny space.
But you're right. I mean, you look at the 308.
Yeah.
What year is that?
The 1966.
Yeah. And then, I mean, just any of the others. I mean, I didn't even notice it because it's so small and
Tiny.
low. It is absolutely tiny compared to some of the newer cars.
Cars today like on steroids, but that's what these do.
They're massive, yeah.
Going back to colours, though, how important are, because I mean, one of the new things that we do now, and of course we went down to Topaz and saw them as well, but wraps, because I mean, people can change. So how, going back to colours, does it actually matter what colour the car originally is when you can wrap it in pretty much anything you want?
I think it's still only a small market of people who would buy a car and wrap it, to be fair. But it gives the customer the option. I suppose if a car's very rare and it's got everything that you want, but it's not quite the colour, then there's the option to do that, isn't there? And it kind of doubles up as a protection for the car paint underneath and preserves that as well. But I still think the majority of customers like to sort of have the factory
original colour.
Yeah, and then maybe put BPF on or something like that.
And how much does move from wrapping cars, same thing as customers today like something that's bespoke to them, so they like to tow the cars and conversion kits and how much play does that come into cars that you're doing?
Not too much really up here. I mean, maybe it is probably down south because you've got the likes of people like Urban and things like that, where you can go modify cars and they're based in Milton Keynes, which is quite a distance from us here. But of course, we can always get the parts from the guys down there, and we've had a few done ourselves here. So, I mean, it's not often that we do get asked to do them.
We've got lots of customers and they want the car to be just, tailored to them. Something special. Everyone's trying to find something that's different from everyone, and that's a way of doing it. But I'm a bit of a purist. I think if I bought one of these amazing cars, I wouldn't touch it. Just leave it as it was.
Yeah, I think that's why spec comes into play.
Yeah.
That's why the cars I have in here, there's a lovely 911 turbo, but it's got aero kit, lots of high gloss accents on it. So it really makes it very different. It's a high spec car.
Yeah.
Rather than your standard car. And I tend to look for those in all the cars we buy for stock.
So if you were to have a dream garage where money was no object.
Well, you're pretty much in it.
Well, no, but this is the cars that he would keep.
So
this is for you personally.
Yeah.
Daily driver,
Yeah.
race, or compete in or do something, and park up in the garage as a collectors. What would the three of them be?
Three of them be? Wow, okay. I mean, I'm probably a bit old-fashioned, I suppose. I quite like the old Audi RS Sports, the V8s.
Yeah.
And I love them, the manual gearbox B7. I think they're an incredible car. And if you can come across a low mileage one of them, they're good news.
Yeah.
So what a great car. You're just cool driving in one of those.
You are. That would be your daily.
That would probably be a cool daily to have. I think if I'm looking at something as a car, I open the garage door and have a blast in. I'm quite partial to the Speciale.
Okay.
The 458 Speciale. I think they're just sound amazing. And probably want to keep Carrera GT.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Would you go along with that, Darren? It does. It's funny that, well, apart from the Audi, they're all stock cars.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it is true. But you can't knock them. They are good appreciating cars, aren't they?
Well, if I was going to collect a car, there's one car to look at and polish it for me. Everyone knows it's always the Enzo for me.
Of course.
But I think in the same way as I know you've got that affinity with the Curating.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been involved with them when they were first launched. For me, and Enzo was where I cut my teeth in finance in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I think I've had something like 22 of them, something ridiculous. So I've got that connection with the car, and I still think as a design it's pretty iconic.
Yeah.
So, technology's moved on and you can get faster, quicker cars, better tech and stuff. But for me, I think that's one I would get. I mean, they're up at like 3 million.
There they are now, yeah.
See, I just want everything. I'm rubbish. I couldn't even answer that question. So
There's too many.
There's too many cars on.
I always wish I could, put a few away in a container and leave them 20 years because it'd be a great pension pot, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If you could do. So,
I mean, in here, I think this is my favourite. I think I've made that perfectly clear in case anybody missed it. Just to be absolutely clear.
Daily driver. I haven't finished yet.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Daily driver. Bentley GT Coupe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Love that car ever since they brought it out.
Yeah.
Still dreaming about that. But yeah, I'm sure it's not as fabulous as maybe my head thinks. But I don't know. Do you think it's? I think it's.
I think it would suit you.
I think it's very me. That
it
car.
would. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Racing. Don't know. Actually, I don't do much racing, so I'll let you fill that one in for me.
GT40.
GT. Oh.
What, the new one?
No.
The old one.
one.
So that's like historic racing then.
I did actually.
I just think they are the most beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I think they're.
They're very cool.
Drive my customers black Ford GT, the one that came out in the 2000s,
which actually I really like.
Which was beautiful, and it had a Roush upgrade to 1,000 brake horsepower.
Oof.
I didn't only drive it at 5 miles an hour out of the garage.
Oh, how?
But I still drove it. It counts.
Yeah, that still counts. I have driven a GT40.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It's helpful. But see, that goes back to the thing about size. Helps being small because you can get in. I mean, you know, people.
You need a crane to get me out of this.
Tall guys would struggle now, and that's where they put the bubble on. But even so, it's a bit of a tight squeeze. But God, I think that's a lovely car.
It's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you so much.
No, pleasure.
And thank you for actually, finding the time to actually host us today.
Yeah, of course. No, I'll be looking forward to it. It's great.
Nice to put you in the flesh rather than through a screen.
Yeah. That's great.
I think we need to take a little bit of a closer look around the showroom.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome. Cheers, Darren.